Hello my crafty friends, this is Michelle with the Southern Shell, and I'm here for a little update on my birthday challenge. I had asked for a Rolodex card with your crafting style on it and your information on the back. So I wanted to share with you my Rolodex and how to put your own style on it. I love paper and paper piecing and dies, and so I want to show you how I went ahead and came up with mine. Now I have a die, but you don't have to have it. If you don't have a die, you don't have to have a die. I have a die here that I used for my particular Rolodex, and then this piece cuts out another little, that cut out the little square on the inside there. I'm going to show you what you can do if you don't have a die. I'm also going to show you how to do the paper piecing with this lovely lady here, which is the one that I used. Move that out of the way and put her back up there. So that's the die that I used, and I paper pieced her here. She has gold shoes and a gold bag. She has a dark purple bodice and background underneath the cutouts on her skirt and then on her hat. I really think that she turned out wonderful, and I'm going to show you how to do that with some paper piecing. I also have down here, and it says "You are beautiful," and that's Psalms 139:14. And because I do my Talk It Out Tuesday, which is regarding my Bible study during the week, I like to remind people, you are beautiful, you're worthy, you're worth it, because I have to remind myself. So let's get started. For the speech bubble, I used my Cricut, and I created a print and cut. And if you guys are interested in learning how to do a print and cut, just leave me a comment below and I'll be happy to show that. There are a lot of videos for Cricut out there, but if you would like to see how I do mine, I'd be more than happy to share that with you. So I have my speech bubble. I'm going to leave her right on up there. And I'm going to bring out all the pieces that I have for my to make a Rolodex card without using a die. So, and then I have all the pieces for my lady. Now let's start with the Rolodex. So I'm going to put all my little pieces for her up and out of the way. For your Rolodex, you're going to need a base. And your base is going to need to be 4 by 3.5. So 4 by 3.5. And then on one side of your Rolodex card, you're going to come in at 1.5 inches and come up 1/4 inch. So let's do it this way. We're going to come in 1.5 inches, and then we're going to come up 1/4 inch, and you're going to make a spot. And then you're going to come, and that's just going to be, I believe it's just 1 inch wide. Yeah. So 1 inch wide, and you're going 1/4 inch. So if it's easier for you, you can come on over, take your cardstock, and mark 1/4 inch. And then you can take your ruler and draw 1/4 inch across. Once you have that, you can come in 1.5 inches, make a spot, and then come in 1.5 inches from the opposite direction and make a spot. So 4 by 3.5. 1/4 inch up from the bottom, draw a light pencil line. From one end, 1.5 inches in, make a spot on that 1/4 inch mark. The other end, 1.5 inches in, 1/4 inch, make a mark. Now all I'm going to do here is I'm going to use a regular hole punch, and I'm going to come up to where that dot is, and I'm going to put my mark right at the top of my hole punch. I'm just going to pop that out. I'm going to do the same on the other side. That mark at the top of my hole punch and pop it out. And now I'm going to take my scissors and I'm just going to snip just a little piece away from that bottom circle. And there I have a Rolodex card without using a die. Now I'm going to put a backing on this, so we're going to do it again. I have another one here. Let me do it again. It's 4 by 3.5. So I'm going to come and I'm going to put my card in the corner. And right here I can see I have a 1/4 inch. And I can move it this way, right into the corner, come up a 1/4 inch and mark it. And now I can come right on over and draw a line, spot to spot. So now I want to come in 1.5 inches on both sides. So if I put this at 4, I know I'm going to go 5, here's 4, 5.5, and mark it, and then that's going to be another inch over, so it's going to be 6.5, which is also going to be 1.5 in. Now because I'm going to mount it on here, I want to make sure that it's all lined up, and those dots are right there, right where I want them to be. So I'm going to line it up, bring in my hole punch, line it right on up with where the other one's at, punch it on through, punch it on through, come in with my scissors, trim away that little piece, trim away that little piece, and there we have our backing. So I'm going to go ahead and glue these together. Now I'm going to use my art glitter glue. You can do a border punch. Just be careful. You'll have to make your card bigger if you're going to do a border punch on any of this. You can use some decorative scissors. Just line that right on up. Make sure everything is lined up properly. And there you have it. So now I'm going to go ahead and take that centerpiece. It has a little bit of a pierced edge around it. And I'm going to glue that right in the middle of this space. And there you have it. You have the start of a wonderful, strong Rolodex card. And when you turn this over and you line this up, those holes match up perfectly. So now let me show you about paper piecing. And move this down here. Let's set those two up. Now when paper piecing, you're going to have to die cut a few different times. I have my base, and this is what I'm going to build on. And then I have this tissue paper here, but it's not paper, it's like a cloth. And I knew that it wouldn't cut through all the way, so I just ran it through so it would cut the image around, because that's what I want to be the background of my dress. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to get that whole piece glued down. Make sure I've got any little pieces that need to come off. And so I'm going to just take my glue and I'm going to go all over my base piece of my lady. And the arms. There's a lot of detail in these dies, and it shows you where to cut. So when you're doing this, you can get a good idea of what you want to look different, what colors you want to do. If you want, maybe you want her to have hosiery on her legs. You don't want her legs to be the same color that you put down as her arms or her face. And so, you know, there are so many different things you can do. So I've got that layer down. So that's going to be the background color. And I want, see in here, there's a little space. I'm going to go ahead and pop that out so that you can see where her hat, her little ribbon on her hat is flowing. I wanted to share with you that on most dies that have the detail on here, they're basically going to show you where you need to trim for your paper piecing. So on this particular one, we have the curvature of the back. So I know that the back and up through the face is all going to be the flesh tone. Now the hat is going to be whatever color I'm cutting out for the hat and the ribbon. Down the arms, you see a little line here, and that means her sleeve comes down, and then this is going to be her hand. Her handbag, you just got to snip here and snip here, and you have a handbag. Same thing with her shoes. You can see right along the edges where you can just snip those little areas, and it's going to pop out. Once again, the shoulder attached here and here. You cut that out, and then you've got the bodice of the dress. If you want the bodice of the dress to be different, which I did, you cut right along that little line. There's a little snip here and a little snip here. At the arm, just cut right there. So they do the guesswork for you. You just follow the little lines. I wanted to share that with you as I get started. So let's get to piecing this together. So I want to, let's go ahead and just glue our little speech bubble together first. So I cut out 3 different layers. I'm going to glue the top 2 together, which I cut out in the purple that is very similar to the purple that I've used. And I'm just going to use my art glitter glue and get that layered up. And then the back, I made sure when I did a print and cut that I flipped it so that this part would be right side up on the back side, because on here I have it popping up on the back. So I'm going to go ahead and glue my back on. everything up. So that's ready. So now I am going to go ahead and start looking at the pieces I have to cut. I have here is the top part for her face and her little hand. So I'm going to go ahead and snip that. So like I showed you along those lines, for the top of the body, right here is where the little shoulder meets, and it's just a little snip, and that comes out. So let's set that aside, and then I want to trim the hat away from the face. So right here we have a little score mark, so we're going to snip there, and then right here, this is where the hat's going to be, and we don't need that. Well, we can leave that on there if we wanted to and make the hat pop a little more, but I don't want that. I want it to be as even as I can. So I'm just going to come in here and I'm going to snip it here because I know that it's already cut around the face. So now I just have to come on down and just make sure that that little tiny piece on the face is cut. And then right up to that neck, there's a little tiny piece, and snip it. And then that'll pull away. And now I have a silhouette of the face. And I'm going to come right on in where that hat line's going to be, and I'm going to curve on down to that next little cut. And that's going to come right off. Now I have, this is her hair, and I am going to just come right up here to where her hair is and snip that, and that's going to come apart right there. And then I'm just going to come on down and snip that away. So now I have the silhouette of her face is going to go right on there, and you can see where the silhouette, where her back is supposed to be, and so that's how you can actually get that down. There's the cutout, if you remember, is still on there. The lines are still on there, so you'll have a place and you know exactly where to lay her down. So there's the face, and the now back at the feet and the shoes. I want the shoes to pop a little more because you don't wear the shoes right up against you. They actually pop out a little bit because they're not part of your leg. So I'm just going to cut it off there, and these are going to just sit right on top, and that'll be her legs. I'm not putting any of this together yet because we have her dress still. Let's go ahead and get her little hand cut out. So we have her handbag, and I'm just going to, when you look at the handbag, you just have to snip, and then there's another little piece right there, and you can snip, and then right here is where her little blouse ends, and you can snip, and then from the skirt down to the little opening of her forearm, snip, and then taking that last little piece off where the purse is and snip. And that's going to go over here. Now we don't want the purse attached because her hand is going on the outside of the purse, so I don't want the purse attached. So I'm just going to come in and snip and snip. And now her little hand just flew right up and hit me. There she is. So now we have her hand, her face, and her legs. So here is the gold, and this is for her shoes and her handbag. And I'm going to go ahead and come in, and you can see on here it has the cut line of where the shoe comes right down her ankle and across the back of that. So I'm going to take my little gold piece and come in and snip and turn and come to the back of that shoe and snip. And there's the first shoe. And that's going to go there. And then the back of the second foot is a little bit curved, so I'm just going to make sure I come up to where those curves are because the cut is already there from your die. Put that down, and there's her second foot. The handbag, we have the cuts all the way around it right there. We're going to leave the hand in there, the hand imprint in there, because we want the hand to be on the top of the handbag. So I'm going to come in, cut that little edge right there. I'm going to cut the little arm, come right on in to the forearm, and now we're going to continue to cut around the handbag. That comes right on up. You can see that right there. Turn it to the back. You can see right there I just have a cut right there and one more little one right there, and there's the handbag. Alright, let's move our little extras out of the way. So we have the handbag, the hand, the shoe. This is all the stuff we're going to need. But what I want to do first is we're going to get our dress down. So I want to cut out where her back meets right there. And I wanted her bodice to be different. So I'm going to come right along the lines. Lines are right here, and I'm going to cut the bodice right on off of the skirt. Just a snip and right on over to the arm. Right on down the forearm. We do not need that purse, so we're going to snip that little purse away. And right there. Sometimes you can see those little cuts on the back better than you can on the front. Some people like doing the paper piecing and stuff. I love it. Some people find it very tedious and they just don't like it, and that's fine. You don't have to do this. You know, you can use stamps, you can use ephemera. I'm going to cut the legs off because we don't need a bulky leg. Okay, so I'm going to go ahead now and get this top skirt put right on top of my underskirt. Some art glitter glue. Now this will dry clear and you won't be able to see where it's, if it pops on through some of those holes. So I'm not too worried about that. I'm gonna line that right on up. The skirt on the bottom. Press that on down. Now I want the hat. You see on my original one, I have the hat print, part of the hat print the same. So let's go ahead and get that hat print cut out. So I'm going to cut from the neckline up to the hair. And once again, if you turn it over, you can see it a little bit better. There's the hairline. There we go. Cut across. And then the face. And the neck. And then we have this little piece here that we're going to just pop right on out. Needs a little snippet there. Now this is kind of like a shadow on the hat. So I'm going to cut it out so that you can see the back side of the purple that we laid down first. And just a couple little snips and it's gone. And so let's go ahead and get a piece away. Okay, so that's what the little hat looks like as we're laying it down. Get some glue on that. Up to those corners, all around those edges. I line it up with the little flowy ribbon and make sure it's all lined up against the top of the hat. The ribbon's going out. All looks good. So now I can take this. Now one of the things that I did on the other is I left her arms with the same overlay. So I'm going to go ahead and do that here. And all I need to do is cut off the shoulder piece right there. And that separates it. And then that can come right on down and glue on top. Now because when you're holding a purse, it sticks out a little bit further than your clothing. I went ahead and I left that on there to build a little bit of bulk. I'm just laying it right on in there. And then the other little arm of the bodice, just snip here. Snip it off the bodice. And that little arm will come right on off. So we snipped here and we got this arm, and we snipped here and we got this little piece. So let's get that little piece on there. We'll line up her little elbow, right on up to her little shoulder piece. Okay, so let's go ahead and get her face and her back put in there. So now we see even better how her face is just going to sit right on in there. So the face that we cut, we're going to go ahead and this is her face and her back. Take it and we're going to lay that right on in. Match it up with the top of the hat. You see that coming together now? Look at her. All right, let's get her legs. Her little legs and shoes. This should butt right up against that outer skirt. And now we're going to go ahead and get the gold handbag and the shoes. The last thing we'll put on is her hand. Now we've got all the lines there of right where that handbag and that arm need to go. Just follow the lines. Put her on down. And then her little shoes. Line them right on up. Push them on into where those lines are at. And then the last piece we have is her little hand. And we're just going to dab just a little bit of glue on top of that little gold piece. And we're going to take her little hand and lay it right on the outline of those little cut marks. And there we have our beautiful lady. Okay, so let's get her on our card. Now I want to come just up to the just above the bodice. So right up here, all the way down, her legs and her shoes, up, and I'm going to hold it up because I want to make sure. Here we go. Press her on down. We have our little speech bubble. Make sure that my heart is being seen on the other side, so I'm going to just cover it up. And there we have it, ladies and gents. All right. Now when that dries, you will have, there you have it. And that's a representative of me, my crafting style. Now on the back of this I'll put my information, and that will be sent out to some lovely crafters who maybe would like to receive one. If you would like to receive a Rolodex card from me, just let me know in the description box below, and then send me an email. My email is in the description box below as well. And this is kind of an update on my birthday challenge, which goes on through the end of April. I will link that original video below, and it's all about Rolodex cards. So thank you all so much for joining me for this in-depth little tutorial on how to do some paper piecing and how to create a Rolodex card without a die. So if you have any questions, let me know in the description box below, and I'll answer to the best of my ability. As always, thank you for taking time out of your day to join me and watch my videos. If you like it, please give me a thumbs up. If you have not subscribed to my channel, I do hope you consider doing so. If you're interested in the challenge giveaway that I'm doing for my birthday, please check out that link to the original video below. As always, stay safe, God bless, and bye for now.